Hey, this is Donnie Smith, and I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of Does That Really Work Auto Show. In this episode, we're going to test PlastiDip on car parts. Yeah, so I had a lot of questions about this PlastiDip and using it on car parts. I've used it on emblems and wheels and even doing the whole car. And I've never done that, but we're going to test it out. Now, it's not really the question of does it work or not. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos, I researched this. Obviously, it works. But what we do in this show is determine, will it work for you, the consumer, the end user. Sure, things work, but is there behind the scene things, tips and tricks that maybe you don't know on some of these things that you learn about? And that's what we test on here, to see if it works for the unexperienced, the DIY, the people like you that may not have all the expertise and the tips and knowledge. So we're going to test that out to see. So let me give you a quick example. Does paintless dent removal work? Yes, of course it does. Will paintless dent repair work for you? No, probably not. Paintless dent repair, it is a very effective method used to repair small dents. But this takes hours of practice. It's not something that, someone that doesn't know anything about is going to be able to get all the rods and the tools and go out there and fix their car with PDR. This takes hours and hours of work. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Yes, it can be done, but not by the average person, not by the DIY, someone just wanting to try it on their car. So that's what we're going to do with this PlastiDip to see, how it works. Is there any things that's not being shown on YouTube, any problems that we come up with, or maybe it works. Let's find out. Okay, the first thing we did, we already cleaned the car off, make sure it's clean. You don't want to be applying this over dirt, obviously, so we got it clean. And we're just going to mask this bottom off to see, so we don't get any overspray on the bumper cover. Now I don't have any masking paper here, so I'm just going to use some blue towels. That's about the fastest mask job I've ever done. But on all the videos, that's what they're showing. I mean, I don't think this thing carries, the overspray carries real far, and they're not masking out real far. If this was paint that I was painting, I'd obviously mask a lot better. But this is what they're showing on YouTube, and this is what I want to try. Okay, this is what the videos say. It's a lot better to put on several lighter coats. I think about 4 coats is what they've been putting on. Don't want to put it on too heavy. That looks a little light, but we'll go ahead and let that dry for a little bit because that's what they're doing. They're putting on a real light coat. And we'll probably put 4 coats. Next coat we'll put on a little bit heavier. Now for coat 2. We're going to put this one on a little bit heavier. Okay, and notice I kind of shot from different angles to get these different angles, like these sides, these edges, and that's starting to cover good. We'll let it dry for a little bit and put a couple more coats. Coat 3. Now the fourth and final coat. Okay, we'll let that dry, and some of you doing this at your house, I bet you're thinking the same thing that I'm kind of thinking right now. Man, this better come off. This is my wife's car. And if that doesn't come off and peel off the paint like it is described, I'm going to be in trouble. Okay, we'll go ahead and start unmasking it, and hopefully this is going to peel off like it's supposed to. Hadn't dried all the way. I'm going to let it dry a little bit longer before I take the tape off here, and hopefully when I take that tape off it peels with it. It's kind of sticking to it though, so that's a good thing. Peeled off there fine. Let it dry just a little bit longer, then we'll finish peeling it off. Alright, we're going to go ahead and continue unmasking it and try to peel all this off. I'm feeling a little better because it does seem to be pulling off around the edges good where, you know, it's peeled up some. So if all goes well, we won't have any black on the car. Well, other than the emblems, that is, but won't have it on the paint. It said for the hard to get areas, may use a toothpick. Don't use nothing metal, scratches the paint. Don't have a toothpick, but I do have a fork. Alright, it peeled around fine. Did have a little bit of a difficult time getting in some of the side of these small letters. That took a little bit. Had to sit there and mess with it. You know, not a real fast process. Didn't take too much time though. But does seem to work. But now I'm wanting to peel the center of this out. I'm going to see if that makes a clean edge around this emblem. So I'm going to see how that peels fine. Okay, there is a line dividing that. Didn't work that well on that. I mean, it worked all right, but you see where I peeled a little bit off here. Probably, and I think what I've seen on YouTube is what I'd recommend doing before you peel that off, is where that line's at. Go ahead and get a razor blade and lightly cut that area to prevent that from happening. But I think if I'd have done that, you know, it'd work fine. Cheap trick, if you're wanting to black out something, emblems, seems to work. Might do some practice panels and kind of learn things like I did, like problems like this. You know, you might want to use a razor blade, so might grab an old hood or something and practice. And then cans, you know, it's not that expensive, $9–10 I think the can was. use some tape, you know, and paper so you don't get it over on the paint where you're not wanting to get on. But seems like it works as described. And that's it for this Does It Really Work Auto Show. We'll talk to you next time.